Okay, my apologies. Please forgive me. That was my boyfriend, who is my twin, and today is actually our 2-year anniversary. So I had to see what he wanted since he kept calling. So my apologies. If I'm able to combine these, I will. If not, please bear with me and just watch the second part. Thank you. So rain in the body quadrant may be a sign of pregnancy, improvement of physical condition, or healing from disease. So purification, releasing trauma, releasing anger, forgiveness. And as we forgive, we heal each other, and we release this dense energy back to God, back to Source. Your physical body is entering into a positive stage because life energy is flowing into it. So when we release these dense energies, more life energy, light energy, more life force energy can flow into you. Okay, sorry. So whichever is your case, be ready to participate actively in the process, because this is your opportunity to make the best of the fertilizing rain of Kaya Whittle. The healing may not take place. The opportunity for improvement may be wasted, or the pregnancy may fail if you don't do your part actively and with full awareness. The pregnancy may be symbolic, a sign of some project or idea that is in the gestation stage and requires your care before it can be born. In the material world, what you are investing in will bear fruit as long as you keep nurturing the project. Don't get distracted or lose focus, because success is nearby. So this is very important to do our part, to rest when necessary, to stay in a positive, expecting, hopeful mindset, and to be at peace, doing our purging, releasing. And it's all for your greatest good, and this benefits the collective, but you must first be a benefit to yourself. Beautiful message, definitely appreciate that. So the next quadrant is the mind quadrant. And in the mind quadrant, we have the flower, Shak Idol. So the general meaning, Shak Idol has two main meanings. The first one is the flowering of something that has been expected for a long time. The second meaning is the vision that comes from heightened awareness. Actually, these two meanings are very related, because cultivating heightened awareness in your life brings the flowering of what you have been seeking for so long. The blooming of your dreams in your life enhances your awareness. Overall, Shak Idol is a very positive card. So, as you are healing, clearing, purging, releasing of that dense energy, we have been waiting for a long time, and not just us, not just humanity, but the multiverse. The multiverse has been waiting for this flowering, and we are in the process. This is like a huge step. Like, even before the Lion's Gate, I had inquired, and I know some people are bringing forth information about it. Plainly, my oversoul just said to watch and see. They were very excited about the changes coming forth. Even as you are doing your missions, or there's certain steps in your ascension, they're actually not allowed to tell you, because you need to discover it for yourself. When you discover it, accept it, accomplish it on your own, this is part of our ascension or our expansion as souls. So they're not allowed to tell us everything. They assist us the best they can, and they're able to assist us more the more we call forth in them, of course. So in the mind quadrant, it advises you to look for the experience of the silent knowledge through a heightened state of awareness. The normal function of the mind is reasoning and talking yourself through the questions and problems of life. However, not many people know that there is a higher expression of the intellectual function, which is the magical experience of the silent knowledge which comes forth through your heart center. I absolutely love, you cannot understand how much I love assisting people in doing or sessions with them, the angelic universal regression alchemy process, and especially when it comes to the beautiful heart chakra. There's so many people's heart chakras. You can literally, it's like the heart, some of them are literally in a box, like that's literally in a box, or have been taken off their pedestal, or whatever image you see for that particular person when you're able to see it. Sometimes you just feel it. But yes, it's like let's awaken our hearts, breathe life into our hearts. Don't keep it chained or locked up, afraid that it's going to be hurt, because it's literally dying in that box, wanting to come out, wanting to unite with you. Breathe life into it, put it back, dust it off, put it back on its pedestal, let it shine and grow and glow and expand and be at the place that it was meant to be at, where it was created for. Out of fear, we lock it up. Out of hope and trust and faith and knowing that we don't have to be afraid, we can use discernment. There are tools that you can use. You don't have to live through fear. It's actually not advisable. It's not in your best interest. So the silent knowledge is a hidden and exceptionally clear awareness of who you are and what you are doing in this world. You cannot force the mind to make this mental somersault. It is not through normal reflection or analysis that you get to see this. The most you can do is provide the necessary space and circumstances for this higher function of the mind to take place. And then your energetic body does it all by itself. Every second that you spend in the silent knowledge experience is like an accumulated asset that brings you closer to your real or higher self, beyond what your mind tells you about yourself and your life. The silent knowledge lets you see who you truly are and what your life is truly about. Your entire being needs the balancing and the healing experience of the silent knowledge, of the uniting of your heart chakra. The last reading I did was titled Knowledge. Knowledge without love is no wisdom at all. So you need love in order to have a truer expression of love, truer expression of truth, truer expression of knowledge, a fuller idea, fuller expression. Without love, with a diminished heart chakra or a protected, we assume or we think, or the ego tells us we're protecting our hearts. And we're really not, because if you block yourself off trying to protect yourself, like from dark energy or from negative experiences of trauma, you also block yourself off from the light. There's no way to block off one without blocking off the other. But as you grow, you develop your discernment. You start not even accessing, but knowing how to use your law of attraction to attract more of you. And, as within, so without. So as you heal yourself, you start attracting more of what you want. A lot of people don't get that because it's like, well, I never wanted to attract these things in the first place. But a lot of it has to do with how we were raised. If you were raised in fear, raised in trauma, then that is like your starting point. But that doesn't mean you have to continue that way just because that's what you were taught. So you have a choice, and that's what free will is all about. Free will is all about how much in the light do you want to be? How much in the light and how much in the healing, how much light, love are you going to allow to manifest in your life to create what you want to create? Because that's what the experience is about. Creating, knowing yourself as a creator. Many of us do not know ourselves as the creator. All right, so let's see how, I'm going to try to stay just on the reading here. I know I get to talking, so hopefully you appreciate it. I'm sure you do. So in the, emotions, in the emotions quadrant, we have the snake. The snake coatl. So I would imagine Quetzal more than likely means bird. But let's keep moving. So the dualistic understanding of the world is at the core of the Toltec tradition and is present in almost every aspect of the culture. It is within this perspective that the snake reveals its most archetypal features. To the Toltec, the snake is not the enemy, but a necessary half of the sacred duality spirit-matter. It is seen as lower for comparison with what is higher, unlike the Judeo-Christian representation of the snake as the evil we need to kill. And in this, they were in alignment with the Aztec. For the Toltec, the snake was either the material world or the side of our personality that we don't like, because we believe it is our weakness. So again, it is not about killing, pushing, or getting rid of the darkness or what we don't like or seeing it as weak. It is about healing, reintegrating, and releasing what no longer serves us and releasing it to God and appreciating what we have learned from the experience, from the interaction, from the partnership. Because it all, regardless of how traumatic it is, even though you don't understand it, and I may not fully understand it from this perspective, on some level, it assisted in your, sorry about that, it assisted in your expansion as a spiritual being. And that's why it's so important to release this energy and to not be angry. Because that anger, you no longer, if you stay in the anger, you don't actually experience how it has assisted you in its purpose or your growth, because you're still in the angry energy. And that angry energy will slow down your ascension and your healing. So we want to release that. So the snake in the emotions quadrant. Let's see what that says. In the emotions, Coatl in Teoli represents the baser emotions such as hatred, rancor, jealousy, and envy. These emotions happen in the context of relationships, our relationship with ourselves included. The snake in the emotions relationship quadrant is asking you to recognize the lower scale emotions that you are feeling against someone or against yourself and against humanity. These emotions are draining a great deal of your energy. It's so draining. And actually the dark ones feed off this energy. So that's where it really, when you feel the drain, that's where it's going. Disapproval of yourself. Disapproval of yourself or feeling guilty for holding these emotions take even more energy. So yes, we don't want to, once we become aware of this, we don't want to further, disapprove or feel bad for feeling this way. It's totally understandable. Totally understandable. It's not to beat yourself up. Beating yourself up does nothing. Believe me, I've done it. I think we all do it. We're actually our hardest or worst critics. We're so hard on ourselves. And as you ascend, or in order to ascend, you will realize it's easier to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself, and that'll help you to start forgiving others. Is forgiveness of self. The greatest difficulty we have with these kinds of emotions is admitting that we feel them. We try to block them. We try to hide them. We try to get rid of them. We try to push them aside. This is why shadow work is important, because these are emotions we did not address. We did not heal. And a lot of times we weren't ready, and that's okay. But what this is saying is that now the energy is right. If you have not started doing this, it is necessary. It is beneficial, and you have assistance to start addressing these, healing these, releasing these, transmuting these, so that you may release this energy, so that you may ascend and ascend with ease. Who wants to fly with weights on their ankles? You don't need to. And it's going to be a hard, bumpy ride. So, let me see here. The greatest difficulty we have with these kinds of emotions is admitting that we feel them. Think about envy, for instance. Who wants to admit feeling envy? We aren't supposed to feel that kind of emotion, but we do. It is a very human behavior. Accepting that you feel it doesn't mean that you will live by that emotion. It is just the beginning of learning to dance with the snake. This means learning from it and learning about it so that you can redirect that energy into something positive. And besides, there's no point of lying to yourself, deceiving yourself. It's okay to admit it, but what do you want to do next? What do you want to do about it? Do you want to continue to stay in that energy? Or do you want to choose a different energy and a different emotion? That's another thing about free will. You get to choose. Just because you felt an emotion or you thought a thought doesn't mean you have to continue along that same thought process. As you practice, you begin to become aware and you say, okay, where did that come from? What is the root of this? Do I want to continue to feel this way? Is this true about me? Is this even my thought? Is this my emotion? Because if it's not, release it. But when you are aware of it, you can make another choice if you choose to. If it's one that you like, that's a joyful, loving thought, think about it some more. Add more energy to that thought. But if it is not one that you choose that brings you joy, transmute it, heal it, address it, become aware of it, and then decide, okay, I see you, I understand, and now I've given you enough attention. Now I want to choose something different or do something different, or I want to choose to feel better, or I want to let you go. Whatever it is, whatever you're guided to do. So in the spirit quadrant, we have the flint. Tech Pottle represents the enhanced awareness that, like a mirror, reflects the harmonious existence of the cosmic totality. It also represents the power and wellness that arise from living in a harmonious connection with what is higher, both in its physical manifestation as the universe and in its spiritual dimension as the unifying and sustaining force in the universe. This forces is knowing. This forces is known among the Toltec as Sin Teotl, the sacred unity. Tekpotl also implies the tension or effort it takes for the carved flint or knife to cut open its way and achieve fulfillment of its given task. In this spiritual sense, Tekpotl represents not only higher awareness, but specifically the efforts you have to make to achieve such higher awareness. It also represents the efforts to live a purposeful life, which in turn promotes the achievement of a higher awareness. These two reciprocal efforts sustain each other in what we can call a sacred sustaining system. So, in the spirit quadrant, flint on the spirit quadrant is a call for you to develop your soul in a more dedicated way than you have done so far. So, this energy is unlike the energy in the past. This is a totally new, higher, and different energy. What you have been doing, you are encouraged to expand upon, to seek higher expression, higher meaning, a bigger heart chakra. Activate that heart to its fullest potential. Focus on your heart. Feel your heart. Be one with your heart. Stop pushing it to the side. Love yourself. Love your heart. Honor your heart. Your true heart. Not Earth or humanity's idea of what love is, but source love. Truth. This means one of two things. Either you have not paid attention to your soul development because you have been too busy with the basics of life, work, money, partner, family, or the time has arrived for you to devote yourself to your soul development in a more organized and effective way. As I stated before, two very strong messages that came forth to me, and I know it's been coming forth to others, is the need to receive confirmation that you are free of entities. One of the things that the Blue Avian said, that especially when we become aware of who we are, because we are such loving beings, there are many of us, we love more than we think we do. And we want to so much help other people. We want to so much help our families, help our neighbors, help our friends. And it's like when we wake up, I believe the majority of us experience, going out, yelling and, hey, didn't you see this? Aren't you aware of this? Don't you know this is what's going on? Blah, 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 blah. And it's just natural, because it's like you just woke up, and because you're loving, you want everyone else to wake up. But there is work for you to do to be at your highest potential. And part of that is healing to the highest degree of healing. And in order to ascend and access your highest potential, it will be to be free of entities. Plain and simple. Free of entities. You can assist others with entities present. However, if your discernment is lacking, you're not going to be able to tell clearly when a message is coming from a dark one, because they like to slip information in middle of your truth. That's how the dark ones work, confusion and chaos. So in every sacred text, especially like the Quran, the Bible, different texts like that, you have all sorts of untruths mixed in with truth, and it causes chaos and confusion. Also, like I said earlier, if you are activating, especially if you're doing forced activations, such as Kundalini activation, different things like that, you actually are empowering these entities, especially if they are of the reptilian nature. You're flowing more power to them. And sometimes it's empowering them directly. So you don't want to do these without clearing your vessel. And it is, I'm gonna say a message. It is beyond my understanding. Anyone, any healer, any quantum healer that removes entities and have not had a session done with them themselves. If you understand that entities are in vessels, in bodies, if you are removing these from other people, then you are aware of them. I don't even want to try to comprehend how you did not think that it was best for you to have a session with your teacher or a fellow healer to remove these entities from your own vessel. So my advice, anybody hearing this message, spread the message. Is your practitioner, is your healer, has your reader had entities removed from their vessel, and did they receive confirmation from their own higher self? All right. So the form and content of your spiritual life so far are like a crude flint that has no beauty or edge, and its power is still hidden. You have made a beginning, but now you must demand more of yourself in terms of the time that you dedicate to your spiritual life and your practice. If something is not working for you anymore, leave it. If you need to incorporate something new, go for it. Take the risk, try, and if you make mistakes, welcome and learn from them. Take a look at your life. Is it balanced and full of energy? Or is it dull, confusing, or clumsy? Are you one with the Great Spirit, or are you lost? Whatever your answers are, Tecpado and Teotl is calling for you to the quest for higher awareness. Pray, meditate, undertake a spiritual retreat, make a pilgrimage, make offering to the Great Spirit, and follow through on those offerings in your everyday life. Search for, learn, or invent the practices. Bring it forth. We can bring so much more forth as we awaken, as we elevate, as we remember who we are. This is what we are here for. This is why it's so important for each of us as individuals, every single one of us, and it does not matter your origin, whether of Earth origin, a star origin, another planetary origin, or angelic origin. We each came here with a purpose. We each came here with information. We each came here with a mission. As you activate, you bring this information forward as we are all puzzles to the whole, to the unity, to the multiverse. And as you heal yourself, this is actually the best way to heal your bloodline. This is the best way to heal humanity. Heal yourself first. Love yourself first, and then it radiates out from you, and it expands. And that is what is being called forth today. Expansion. Expansion, a higher level. What we have done so far has been good, but there is much more potential to tap into. So let's keep going. So the last card is in the heart quadrant, the beautiful, beautiful heart. And we have the moon card. So in the Toltec Oracle, getting the moon as the ruler card means that forces from your unconscious are trying to manifest themselves in your life. They come from the hidden awareness that needs to be reached by the light of consciousness. This has to do with the two aspects of a part of you that remains in the shadow. This is your shadow work. The first aspect of the shadow deals with parts of yourself that you have denied. They need to be acknowledged so that you can achieve completeness by integrating them into the full spectrum of who you are. It is a process of transmutation, healing these aspects, reintegrating these aspects into who you are so that you are no longer just a piece of you. You have more of you, a wholeness to you. The second, deeper aspect is about integrating the awareness of your magical, mysterious side, the Nagul side, into your life. You have to do the work of discovering the awareness of your other self, the one you have used in a very limited way so far. Honor it and use its influence to empower and balance your everyday life. To be able to achieve a sober handling of your Nagul side, you need to acknowledge your shadow. Once you befriend the part of yourself that you used to push away, your shadow may reveal to you all the power, beauty, and freedom that it contains. You just have to find the way to make that leap. To leap into your other self, you must first create a platform from which to leap. The platform is the metaphor for a proper setting that enables you to shift awareness. In practical terms, that happens through your attention training practices, ceremonies, and rituals. The leap is possible only if you are working every day to live your life in a way that strengthens your connection with the Great Spirit. Make your spirit strong and your actions impeccable so that you can open the door that leads to the power of your other self through your heart. All right. So one thing I do want to show or share is that as we are ascending, we receive a lot of information in dream time. We have different types of dreams. We have trainings in dreams. We train others in dreams. We visit places. We are multidimensional beings. There's a lot of things that go on during your dream time. You don't always remember it. However, one tip I was given just this week to help us remember is to actually use rosemary leaves. Well, these are dried rosemary leaves. You can get fresh rosemary leaves. You can use a combination of both. And I received from my Oversoul, or confirmation from Oversoul, to also use crystals. And if you are attuned to crystals, you can receive what type of crystals are best for you. Of course, you can use the, general crystals that people are familiar with, like clear quartz. One of the crystals I'm using is a black Tibetan quartz. Let me see, amethyst. There's so many different crystals. So many. I use so many. I have them all around the house. And I set up Reiki grids, crystal grids, all kind of stuff. And I just basically put them in a little blue bag, and you sleep with them under your pillow. And of course, setting intention to remember, what occurred, what you learned, what you did, where you went, what type of conversations was had. One thing I was assured, any information you receive, I guess you could say in your multidimensional aspect, whether it be an activation, a download, a conversation, like I've even had conversations with unicorns, and I cannot consciously tell you how those conversations went. It was like, I want to say it's like 3 different unicorns. However, it was confirmed that, I guess you could say, my multidimensional self or subconscious self definitely received and remembered the information, has integrated it basically into my belief system, whether I'm aware of it or not. I have the information, and I probably just use it practically, like on my everyday understanding, just not realizing that it came from the unicorns anyway. So that's just an example. A lot of things I do remember, some things I don't, or I just have like a essence or a memory, or like just the idea that certain things happened or occurred and things like that. So, and it varies from person to person. Everybody's gifts are different. I've said this before, source loves diversity. So honor your gifts, honor your experience. And in that honor, yes, you are welcome to share, but understand that everyone's experience is different. We are here to assist each other. And one of the things I love to do, like my primary mission is healing. And healing on a higher level, removing entities, transmuting. And I do this all day long, in session or not. We're transmuting more than you can even imagine. So I love doing it. I love connecting with you. I honor you and I appreciate you and I love you. Have a blessed day. Thank you.